no, you don't live in Russia.
Yet. I did send away for my South Park DNA test to find out how much of a victim I am, so I'm hoping that
was honestly, this is what I love about South Park, when they just prove how stupid people are. And after you watch it, you're just like, okay, wow, really stupid.
I mean, because they're controlling the social justice warriors playing identity politics, and they're trolling the Neanderthals who are reacting on the other level, total base level instinct. It's hilarious trolling. All right, we're live. This is the Unhappy Hour. We're on Facebook. If you have comments or questions, type them below. We're going to go to a caller, take some calls in a little bit here. But if you're watching on this platform at this camera, you're probably on vid.me/TheNewAmericanMedia. You might be at youtube.com/TheNewAmericanMedia. Subscribe. Find us Instagram.com/TheNewAmericanMedia. And our Facebook group is the best. It's called the Unhappy Hour Sports Show.
Hey, Brian, if I lose you, it's because I'm going to my car. I will call, I'll have you call me just wait 30 seconds and then call me back because I'm about to be getting in an elevator. I don't think I'll lose you, but just in case.
Okay. Well, let's just start with you and we'll find out how long it goes. Russell Westbrook has signed the largest NBA contract in history, 5 years, $205 million. Zach, let's break it down. What does this mean for Russ and his thinking as far as what he wants to do in his career?
This has been something that we've always wondered. Is Russell Westbrook going to leave the Thunder for the LA Lakers? This is something that's been going on. We've been discussing this on the show for years. The day Westbrook's able to leave, he's going to the Lakers. People have talked about. Well, suddenly it got put to rest. They trade for, after what happened last year, with Kevin Durant and him leaving and Oklahoma City having this depleted roster, to say the least. With Westbrook averaging over a triple-double per game.
Right.
And then Oklahoma City still only won, I think it was 46 games last year. With Westbrook doing that much, he didn't have any help. And then all of a sudden, they go turn, Sam Presti turns his magic beans into, he turns in, Sabonis and Oladipo into Paul George, and then turns Enes Kanter into Carmelo Anthony. And suddenly, the Thunder look like they have a team that will at least challenge the Warriors. I'm not saying we'll beat them because I don't believe that they will. However, this is a team now that is much better off. They have the firepower to compete with a team like San Antonio, with Houston. And I think they've moved up. I mean, some people were saying they were the fourth best, fifth best team in the West. I think they're the second best team in the West.
Wow, the second best team in the West right now.
Yeah, I have them as the second best team in the West.
Who's 3-4? You got Rockets at 3 or Spurs at 3?
I think there's going to be one. I think you're going to see the Spurs and then the Rockets at 4. But I think you're going to all see them with around 60 to 60 plus wins.
I mean, Chris Paul going to that team. That's an incredible move. It's a big deal. We've talked about it. We know it. But once they start playing, we're going to really see what him and Harden can do together. The West is absolutely stacked.
I mean, it is ridiculously stacked. So you look at that, and you say to yourself, okay, the West is great. Brian, this is where I may lose you. So just if I do lose you again, 30 seconds, and then call right back.
Sure thing.
So what I was going to say though is, just I think the West is now a much better conference, especially since Oklahoma City now has a big 3 instead of just a big 2. You have Carmelo Anthony as your third scoring option, I think, which is huge for them. It's absolutely huge.
Yeah, third scoring option. That's Carmelo's
the Westbrook to LA stuff. People were talking about LeBron teaming up with Westbrook. He needs to start a team up with in LA. Well, it's not going to be Carmelo. It's unlikely Chris Paul in LA. I see LeBron's most logical destination if you were leaving Cleveland to honestly be the Houston Rockets.
LeBron going
if he were going to leave. But, look at the Cavs roster. Look how it's constructed. They now have a they have a potentially top 3 pick next year. Why is that going to change? Why is he going to go over, why is he going to go to the Lakers at this point?
But I think you've said it before.
Brian, hold on just 1 second. I'm in the elevator.
We're talking with Zak Baris.
People in here, I was like, I hope there's room. Brian, hold on.
Yeah, sure thing.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, we're talking with Zak Baris over here. I'm going to turn him down. Zach, just don't worry. I've turned you down. Former NBA scout, current NBA consultant, worked in college, worked in the pros, lifelong Cleveland sports fan. He's on Twitter at ZBaris. That's ZBARIS. That's at ZBARIS. And, with Russell Westbrook signing this 5-year, $205 million contract extension, it's really going to be a linchpin. There have been a lot of dominoes with Kyrie Irving leaving and Gordon Hayward, and you look at Isaiah Thomas and Dwayne Wade and some of these pieces, but I think the Russell Westbrook part was always going to be the most important part of this offseason because it's been rumored that the Los Angeles Lakers were going to be a part of this the entire time. We're back with Zach. I think I talked enough, but I was calling Russell Westbrook the linchpin of what's about to happen in the next batch of free agency.
So the reason why this is so significant is because Westbrook now goes from being LeBron James's sidekick potentially in LA. How you've looked at Stephen A. Smith, you've heard all these guys going, he's planning on teaming up with with Russell Westbrook in Los Angeles. It just doesn't we all know that's 100% not happening now. So now it's either going to be Paul George. Or if Paul George just stays the same in Oklahoma City, it puts a real damper in because then who goes and teams up with LeBron in LA? DeMarcus Cousins?
Chris Paul?
I just don't see there being any viable options at that point.
He could do Chris Paul
and Los Angeles.
He could do Chris Paul and Dwayne Wade.
It's possible, but unlikely.
But there's no way to slice this other than this is good for Cleveland.
Yes, this is great for Cleveland. If you're a Cavs fan, this is fantastic. Knowing that there's no option next year of LeBron teaming up with Russell Westbrook. There's zero.
And you think that
there's
was going to be the major
zero chance
draw.
of it happening in Oklahoma City. Or Los Angeles. Zero chance in Los Angeles. And I highly doubt LeBron would ever go to Oklahoma City. I think the bleak outlook that the Cavs have had over the last couple of months, based on the events that have transpired, with Kyrie demanding a trade, look how much deeper and better off the Cavs roster is now without him. Look at this roster now. When you take a look at the Cavaliers,
right?
They are at the point where they're suddenly deeper. They're better off. Nothing about them is worse than they were a year ago. Other than the fact that, they have more depth now. Everything about this team, they are better off than they were.
Kyrie is a great ISO player. He can hit three-pointers. He can drive to the basket.
He was signed at $16 million. Jeff Green last year, who's now signed a veteran minimum contract with the Cavaliers. This is a team that has so much depth. You're looking at guys like Jefferson not even being in the rotation.
And he's been a very serviceable, if not talented, and limited player for the Cavs the past couple years. Like you said, he
exactly.
Might not even get minutes.
I just think this puts a real damper into LeBron's, motive of going to Los Angeles because this whole time people have thought he's teaming up with Russ. He's been infatuated about teaming up with Russell Westbrook. Well, here's the thing. He's got Dwayne Wade now in Cleveland. He's got his deepest team that he's ever played upon. Probably the best team he's ever played on, too. And don't forget, they're not done wheeling and dealing. Like I said, this team is not done. They still have – they can either move their own pick or the Brooklyn pick, and at one point they will move one of those picks this season to upgrade their current roster. Mark my words on it. Osman will either be traded. Someone will be moved in order to upgrade this roster again. That's what I'm saying. This team is far from complete, and they're only going to get better.
So I'm just trying to figure out what we do with that first-round pick now.
Well, don't forget, they can go and move their own and then keep Brooklyn's until draft night and then go and trade it after they take someone.
So you think that's the most likely scenario?
Here are their available options. If you're going to look and trade this pick, here's who's available. You can go and trade the Brooklyn pick and a couple of players for Andre Drummond. But, Andre, the Pistons were better off without Andre on the court last year. It's almost like the stat sheet stuffer type. So that's one. There's DeMarcus Cousins if the Pelicans stink, which they most likely won't be very good. Then you have another option going, okay, well, maybe Utah would do it, for Rudy Gobert. But I don't know how that really helps the Cavs, although he's a monster defensively, but I don't know how it helps you really against the Warriors. Those are just some of the pieces to take a look at. You can go and take a look at some other teams, but, all the stars are now all aligned on the same teams, it seems like. there really aren't any superstars on crappy teams anymore. Look at the West. Every team in the West has multiple all-stars that has all-stars. Look at a team like Denver. Denver's got Millsap now. Denver has some pretty strong pieces to compete with Jokic, I don't know. Maybe you could, the thing is, you don't need another wing guy, so you don't need C.J. McCollum, although he'd be great, but I don't think Portland's giving him up.
Wasn't Lillard? Wasn't the conversation about Damian out there too?
I mean, Damian's not getting traded. Portland would be foolish to trade either one of those young guys. But the reason why McCollum makes sense is because he's from the Cleveland area.
Okay.
But I just don't see any of those being logically possible at this point, nor do I see any of that happening. I mean, again, someone will become available this season, whether it's someone in Utah, whether it's, the Knicks don't have anyone to give up other than Porzingis, and they're not trading him. I mean, they didn't give him up for Kyrie Irving. They're not really going to trade him for anything. So you have to look at those. You have to look at these possibilities and say, really, what can these teams do? I
want to get back to something now. I want to get back to the Lakers, because obviously there's always incessant Laker talk out here. And I have a caller right now. You've called the program before. I forget your name, but caller, It's
Carlos.
Carlos, you had a couple questions for myself and the guest, right, about the Lakers?
Yeah, hey, Papito.
What's going on, brother?
I have a question about the Lakers. Are they going to be able to get Kyrie Irving or LeBron James in a year?
Okay, so your question is in a year, can the Lakers get Kyrie Irving and LeBron? Zach, let me ask you that question. In a year, can the Lakers get Kyrie Irving and LeBron James?
And they could get LeBron next year, but it's who's he going to team up with? It's Paul George or no one at this point. Unless he brings Paul George after he brings Dwayne Wade and Carmelo Anthony, which is a possibility. I just don't see it happening. I mean, again, I just do not see it.
Yeah, that might be a little tough, caller. I don't think that.
And Kyrie Irving still signed for 2 more years in Boston. I fully expect him to sign an extension.
Oh, you fully see now? I would say with Kyrie, it's a total crapshoot. Buyer's remorse. You're going to get buyer's remorse in Boston. I guarantee you buyer's remorse. I don't know if it's going to be halfway through this season with altercations with Brad Stevens or when Kyrie burns you in 2 years and leaves. But I am promising buyer's remorse. I might be wrong, but it's just in my gut. Something is really off with this cat. Real quick, though, caller, did you have any additional question for our guest?
Yes, Lonzo Ball going to be the next superstar. Is he going to lead the Lakers to a championship this year?
Okay, so the question then, Carlos, is Zach, can Lonzo Ball win a championship with the Lakers this year?
No. Here's the thing. I fully expect him to put up good numbers. They're going to be a little skewed, though. I mean, here's the thing with Lonzo. He's an incredible athlete. He's a great player. The problem is he has his jag-off father, again, speaking out for him. He has his father speaking out for him again, talking how, if they get Golden State in the playoffs, they're going to beat them. And I'm thinking to myself, you've got no chance of beating Golden State in the playoffs, let alone even being the 8th seed in the West this year. The team will be lucky to win 30 games. Here's the thing. They've got Lonzo Ball, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Brandon Ingram, what's his name? Julius Randle, and Brook Lopez. And I think Jordan Clarkson. They have no bench, though. Oh, and Larry Nance. They've got 7 guys who are all very young for the most part, other than Brook Lopez. I just don't see the Lakers having a realistic shot at being a playoff team. And here's the thing. Pope's only signed for 1 year. Lopez is a free agent, too. L.A. is, again, if I'm LeBron sitting there going to my age 34 season next year.
Wow.
Why am I going to sit there and go and play with a bunch of young guys in LA? That's the problem. Here's the thing in Cleveland right now, if the Cavaliers were to go re-sign Isaiah Thomas, and hypothetically they could land the number 1 overall pick in the draft, they might wind up with a guy like Michael Porter. Who most teams would give up to anyone to trade for a guy like that next year.
Wow. Could you imagine with all of the number 1 picks the Cavs have had over the past few years landing the number 1 next year? Woo!
Brian, think about this hypothetically for a second. And, let's just say the Cavaliers do take the Warriors to 7 or beat them in the championship.
I'll say
It's a very deep team that isn't finished yet. Golden State, I'm telling you right now, is not shaking in their boots right now because the Cavaliers are not healthy. However, once Isaiah starts playing and you get Wade out there and this team can complement each other, they're deeper than they can be. And what has cost the Cavaliers, what cost them last year? Their bench in the finals. What did they do this offseason? They upgraded the bench massively. They upgraded the starting lineup. They upgraded everything they did this year in order to beat Golden State. I'm not saying that they're as good as Golden State yet. That's not what I'm saying. I think the Cavaliers are one of those teams that need to mesh, and I think Golden State is better than they were a year ago. What I'm saying is, though, is I think that Cleveland has a very good shot at beating the Warriors this year if they are healthy. And don't forget, you have an owner that's willing to spend out the ass. I don't love Dan Gilbert, but he's willing to spend whatever it takes for this team to compete. And we've witnessed that. And he'll do whatever he can. I mean, the value of this franchise right now has to be through the roof with the Dwayne Wade signing.
It's going to be great. The merchandise, man. The fact that he even got him in for a year. Now let me shift gears with the Dwayne Wade thing because I love what's happened. I think it's so great. As a Cavalier fan, we get to now watch Heat fans react to their boy in the enemy's colors. I'm loving this because those 4 years were so bad for Cavs fans. But it also increases the possibility that they could both pull another stunt and both bounce to another city together. Does it not?
They could, but I mean, where do you realistically see them going? San Antonio? That's the thing. I just don't see it at this point. Here's the thing. I could see LeBron going to L.A., but I also can't at the same time. The thing is, Chris Paul's not going back to the Clippers. I just don't see, the whole thing. I think what people don't get either is the whole Kobe thing. LeBron is hated in L.A. and always has been. I mean, Brian, you live out there. I lived out in L.A. People hate LeBron out in Los Angeles.
Yeah, kind of, but they never got that head-to-head. They never got that championship match head-to-head. So they
but it was always a comparison of Kobe to LeBron.
No, that's true. That's
LeBron
true, but they were never.
Doesn't win a championship.
I'm just saying, but they were never hated on that same level quite, because I see a lot of bandwagon fans out here too. I saw Heat James jerseys and Cavs James jerseys. I've been to the games out here.
Yeah, so have I, and. I have to tell you, I truly believe that LeBron is staying in Cleveland. I think this was a move appeasing LeBron is Gilbert's biggest hurdle into keeping him here. And if he basically hands him the keys and said, listen, we got Wade for you. We're going to do whatever it takes. You want us to throw that number 1 pick? Commit to us. We'll commit to whoever the hell you want this offseason. We'll bring in anyone you want. Into this team. This is your team.
Well, that's my question. If Russell Westbrook just signed a contract extension, is there a reason LeBron James can't extend his contract?
He can. I just don't see it happening until LeBron likes to do this stuff all the time. I do see LeBron, his next deal that he signs, I have a feeling he will be. I think he likes playing out these 1-2 year deals with the options because then his last deal, when he realizes if he wants to play until he's 40, gives him the chance to make $40 million a year in his age 39, age 40 season.
Yeah.
That's what he's looking to do.
I guess. No, I follow, but I mean, like you said, it's going to be year 34? It's Dwayne Wade's 35. Yeah,
I fully expect him to go out and sign a larger deal next summer. I mean, I think, if his intention was to retire in Cleveland, like he said the other day in the press conference, he wouldn't have said it for no reason.
But to be fair, he could go somewhere else for 5 more years, then come back and retire.
He said, "I've always intended in finishing my career here. I have no reason, But I don't see him having a reason to leave."
Yeah, no, I follow. I'm just saying, purely logistically speaking about the facts of how he phrased that, he could go somewhere to the Lakers for 3 years, then come back and still retire as a Cavalier.
He could, but here's the thing, though: LeBron's age 38 season, and he goes to the Lakers, and the Cavaliers have a totally different team built up. There's no reason they would even take him back at that point.
Yeah, because they're at a different phase of the rebuilding process. Yeah, I think this is great news for Cavs fans. I think maybe we can relax. Carlos, did you have any final question for Zach?
Papito, I appreciate you having me in the air as always.
Yeah, sure thing, buddy.
And I'm looking forward to the Dodgers and the Indians World Series.
Dodgers-Indians World Series. Carlos, I am amped for this. I am super excited for this. I don't know that my cousin can handle me if we have to beat them for our championship because we're going to win it this year. That is my thought. Carlos, it would be fun to go see a Indians game in my backyard over here. Zach, what do you think? Who do you predict going to the
I'd love
World
to
Series?
see a Dodgers Indians. I'm supposed to be out there the first week in November, so I'm going to play my trip out there by ear for work because there's Browns Chargers that week. I think what is Browns Chargers, November 7th?
I stopped paying attention when they started doing what they're doing.
Well, I don't care anyway, but I'm saying if it's Indians are in the World Series and they're facing the Dodgers, I will be out there 100%.
All right, yeah, oh man, you're going to the Progressive Field games, right? You're going to do the whole...
I'm going next week. Yeah, they announced 1:00. By the way, if any listeners, I have extra tickets to games 1 and 2 of the ALDS. If any of the listeners, just post on the board in there. I've got some extra seats if anyone is looking for games 1 and 2.
Okay, so Zach has some extra seats. Put it in the message. Tag him in the Facebook group if you want to go. I think, the Dodgers might very well come out of the West, but you got a few good teams. You got the Astros. You got the Diamondbacks.
That's the thing is, this is a different kind of year rather than just having one really superior team. I mean, let's look at it in the AL. You've got the Yankees, who are far better than their record indicates. Look at the run differential. They should be a 97-win team, not a 90-win team. Take a look at Boston. Boston's going to win in the mid-90s this year too. And then both Cleveland and Houston are going to win above 100.
And then on the West Coast, I mean, you totally even forget that the Cubs are in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is too. Look in the NL. You get the Dodgers winning over 100, the Nationals winning very close to 100, the Diamondbacks winning they'll win in the low to mid 90s. I mean, there's some really and the Cubs are starting to heat up. This is the year. I mean, the American League only has 5 teams above 500. All of them are in the playoffs.
Wait, did you say we
think about that?
We only have
the
5
American
teams?
League only has 5 of the 15 teams are above 500. All 5 of them are in the playoffs.
Whoa! Talk about.
Go look at the Major League standings. Go look at the AL standings, Brian.
Okay, all right, I will. But you're basically telling me that the thing you talked about with the NBA, where all the stars go play on the same teams, you're saying there's a consolidation of talent in Major League too.
Yeah, I mean, look at the Indians roster. They're, from top to bottom, they're ridiculously good, even when they're not healthy. Look at the Yankees roster. Star power throughout the lineup, good pitching, great, amazing bullpen. You look at the Red Sox, another very good team, and look at the Astros, amazing offense, and two frontline starters. 2 power arms in Verlander and Keuchel in that rotation, too. And then, and you just look where the stars are. Now, there are stars on bad teams, too. But baseball, again, it's not about one person in baseball. It's about having a complete roster of 25 guys.
Yeah, and the Indians were playing it last year with a whole bunch of injuries, and we got a lot of those players back this time. We're still working Kipnis in. We're still out Bradley Zimmer. We are still not really with Michael Brantley at this point, but our starting pitchers, our bullpen is ridiculous.
So do the Yankees. The Yankees have a ridiculous bullpen as well. It's going to be tough facing the Yankees in a 5-game series. They are a very good team. However, the Indians play them well. And if Cervino has to go up in the wild card game, that means we get Sabathia in game 1 against Kluber, which is a huge plus for the Indians.
Explain why that is. Walk me through that again.
Well, because the Yankees would have to pitch their number 1 starter in a wild card game in order to beat Minnesota.
And it'll burn them out a little quicker, and then you got to wait. Look, we've had drone attacks. We've had other guys. If it could have went wrong, it kind of went wrong last year, but it allowed so many of our players to get valuable playoff experience. This is a totally different team. That winning streak we went on was absolutely incredible.
Don't forget, that's the thing is they've added guys like Jay Bruce this year. This is a totally Jose Ramirez is so much better than he was a year ago. It's hard to believe because he was great last year. But I mean, this year, my God, is he good? And look at the catchers this year. Look at Perez and look at Gomes. Would they have 23 home runs between the two of them? And they have over 100 RBIs between the two of them as well.
Yeah, you have to view both of them as one player and their production, their stat line, as opposed. Yeah, when you break it down analytically and look at it that way, it's Ramirez is definitely benefiting from having Edwin Encarnacion in the playoffs in the lineup now. for the playoffs, rather. And Jay Bruce might be the difference between a World Series and maybe just getting there, like actually getting the championship versus maybe just making it. Jay Bruce, talk about the importance of getting Jay Bruce to back up Encarnacion.
We got him for nothing. We got him for a minor league pitcher who sounds like an out-of-work porn star. Wait.
What's the name again? Who did we?
It was
And who did it sound
like? Oh my God, Brian, you got to go look this up.
Well, I'm reconfiguring the desk here, so all my stuff's janky. All right, so what am I looking up? Who Indians trade?
Jay Bruce, Indians trade. Yes, the guy sounds like an out-of-work porn star. His name.
Okay, I thought you said Ottawa. I'm like, why is a Canadian porn star? All right, Ryder Ryan.
Yeah, doesn't it?
He sounds like he's from Ottawa, and that he's out of work. Ryder Ryan.
It sounds like a porn star. I mean, let's put it this way: the Indians got Jay Bruce for nothing because the Mets wanted to shed salary because Wilpon said they need to get rid of $10 million. They were $10 million over in what he wanted and over their spending. It was going to affect their spending for next year. So Allerson went and traded him over to the Indians for nothing, for a bag of balls. I mean, the Indians improved their line. With Jay Bruce, I believe the Indians are like 37-5 with Jay Bruce. Something ridiculous.
Yeah, he shows up and we go on a once in an 81-year. It's more common to see Halley's Comet than it is to see what we saw there. Hey, hold on a second, Zach. Okay. Yeah, I invited Matt August into the program. If you want to join the program, Matt, click the button that says invite, because we're trying this new feature out on Facebook Live. So, you know what, I'll just invite him one more time. You can definitely decline it. Anybody watching, you can always decline. I'll just press the buttons and invite you in if you feel like asking a question or...
So right now it's me, you, and Carlos.
Yeah, Carlos, while we're waiting to see if Matt wants to ask a question, Carlos, did you have any other thoughts on Major League Baseball or the Indians or the Dodgers?
Not really. Just, getting ready for Laker ball. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Lonzo Ball. Maybe LeVar play too, because he's better than LeBron James and Michael Jordan.
Well, you think LeVar Ball could end up playing for the Lakers?
Oh, yeah.
That'll put him over the top?
I think so, Holmes.
Carlos, I don't know about...
You ever watch him ball?
Have I ever watched Ball?
He's a two-sport athlete. He played for the Jets.
He can play for the Jets? Okay.
He did. He tried out for the Jets, Holmes.
The Winnipeg Jets or the New York Jets?
No, the New York Jets. Back in 1983.
No, I don't know the rich
Look up the facts,
ball
man.
history. I will do that. Matt, August, I clicked the invite button. Thanks for pressing play while we're doing our thing. What's on your mind with sports? What did you want to mention or ask?
Oh, nothing. I'm just listening, making dinner.
Heck yeah.
Do you want to talk some minor league hockey or something?
Minor league hockey? Do you want to talk some minor league hockey, Matt? Or
I don't even talk major league hockey.
what is your number one sport? Who's your number one team out of all of them?
Man, it's hard to say. It's, as much as I would love to say the Browns, but I'm kind of up in the air on what I'm doing. As a season ticket holder in the dog pound, it's a tough situation for me.
I'll tell you what, and this weekend didn't make it any more of a less.
He's not a fan of the Clowns? Oh, by the way, I saw Deshaun Kaiser last night.
You saw Deshaun. Where at? He's in Cleveland?
No, he was over at Town Hall in Ohio City. He was over there with Corey Coleman with his cast on his hand. There were about 8 Browns players there last night.
Oh, I wonder if he gave away his second game check for that one. Anyway, but Matt, you're saying the Cleveland Browns, that's your number one team. Football's your jam. Maybe a secondary Indians fan?
Oh, yeah. From Massillon, Ohio, you live and die football. It's bred into you.
When did you graduate, Matt?
96.
I played you guys in 96, 97. We beat Massillon in the first round of the playoffs from Brunswick, 7-6 in a blizzard. I'm the dude that got that sack and went like this in that black and white picture. I know you've seen that damn picture. That was me.
Brian, why don't you post it into the group?
Oh, God, because I don't have a picture of it sitting around. I got to put it up.
I'm going to have you autograph it for me when you're in town next.
Yeah, I'll autograph it.
It's probably in my yearbook, actually.
I'm in this dude's yearbook. Oh, Matt August, this is great. Yeah, dude, I totally get it. When I went to college, I went to Bowling Green, and we were watching a pop culture class, and they showed us this movie. It was about Massillon, how the girls get pom-poms and the boy babies get little footballs, and it shows the guy ripping the beer open with his teeth. He's like, "We love football!" Ah.
Hey, I've got a question. How come nobody's commented about the dancing guy from last week when they were showing Kaiser's parents at the game?
Okay, I didn't watch the game last week. Do you know the dancing guy they're talking about?
I saw the clip. I don't know.
That was the funniest thing I've ever seen. They were showing Deshaun Kaiser's parents, and this guy just starts dancing and starts drinking a beer. It was so funny.
All right, well, someone in the group, please post it below. All right, look, Matt, thank you for popping in. I'll let you get back to stuff. But yeah, I'm going to do this from time to time. I'm just going to click on people, and I will invite you. Decline it anytime. Ignore it. It's just we're having fun with this interactive feature here. So thanks for jumping in. Go Browns. I don't know. Kneeling, not kneeling, whatever the case. That's a different topic for a different day. I've pressed pause on that.
Maybe I'll just stand for the national anthem and sit the rest of the game without buying concessions.
You know,
hey, Brian.
Brian,
I've been talking about taking a knee for the national anthem as a joke every game now.
Yeah.
I'm just going to start taking a knee.
For everything. And I've heard people talking about going on into the Browns game, at least for one game. You know, these season ticket holders, you've been going for how many years? You got an 0-3 team. What's one game? Like, the point of this, to show up, stand for the national anthem,
The only knee the Browns should be
and
taking.
then leave
Brian,
as soon as the
here's
anthem
the
is over and go into the Muni lot and hold a press conference. I'm telling you, this would be national news. Go ahead, Zach.
Right. The problem is the Browns haven't taken a knee in victory formation in how many years? They don't even know how to take a knee properly. They don't know when to take it, so they're taking it during the national anthem instead during victory formation during a game. The last time they'd taken a knee in victory formation was like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, when we're not winning
we
on a
won
Hail
the
Mary.
Chargers game last year on a missed field goal. Before that, they won in overtime against the Ravens, and I was at that freaking game.
I was at the home opener this year. I was at Schittsburg, and I really thought we had it. I thought we had that game. I felt it the whole game. If we had Myles Garrett, we would have won by 3 touchdowns. 2 touchdowns. But anyway. No, I think we're going to – honestly, here's my prediction, and I'll let you go. I think Myles Garrett is going to lead to – as soon as he plays, whether it's this Sunday or next Sunday –
I was saying he's not playing this Sunday. They already said it today.
Well, when we
he's
get to him,
unlikely to play Sunday.
We're going to go on a winning streak. I don't care who we play.
We'll define a winning streak. Just 1 game or 2?
It's going to make the secondary better.
I'll say 3. I'll say 3. Oh, it'll make the secondary better. The linebackers can clean
Hey, Brian,
up everything.
whatever you're smoking, bring some of it to Cleveland for the playoffs. 3 games, my ass.
Yes, man. I'm the eternal
You know what,
optimist.
Brian? If the Browns reel off 3 straight games before the World Series, I'll take you to a game.
Deal. We heard it. Matt, with Matt as my witness, that's where we're going to pause it for now. All right. Thank you, buddy.
Brian,
Appreciate
my
it.
bet's as good as the Browns winning the Super Bowl.
You're okay. So your word is strong as oak, just like in Jerry Maguire.
You know what, Brian? You can say, show me the tickets all you want. The Browns are not reeling off 3 straight in the next few weeks, so I don't have to worry about it.
Show me the tickets. I like it.
So,
That's hilarious.
You know what?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, we really didn't discuss what kind of dynamic Dwayne Wade adds to this team since they actually added him now.
What dynamic does Dwayne Wade add to the team?
Don't forget, this is a guy who's played with LeBron. LeBron was by far at his best, when he was on the court with Wade. They were incredible together. I think you're going to see an extra motivated LeBron out there. This is something I've been discussing on the air with this show now, adding Wade with the Bulls with the buyout now for a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I think we discussed it the other day when he signed, but it wasn't official yet.
We did.
Just the dynamic he has in this team, and you see, LeBron's smiling every chance he gets now, if you've noticed. If you've seen it. Everyone on this team, I think, is really, really excited for this season to start. I think the coaching staff, the front office, ownership, I think this is really just puts the Cavs in a great position. And I don't think you have to talk about LeBron being unhappy all year. I really don't.
He's got his best friend back. Oh, by the way, if you're watching down here, I just click invite sometimes if people show up. You can ignore it, or you can jump in the program, ask a question, whatever works for you. So, no pressure. Yeah, LeBron's having a blast. It's probably his best friend. That is his best friend, right? One of his best friends.
Yeah. Hey, LeBron and Wade, they're amigos.
Yes, they
They
are.
had daughter's quinceañera together.
Yeah, I don't know. Can this team? What is the number one thing this team needs to figure out how to do to beat the Warriors? I know we got to get.
They need to get healthy, number one, and then what they need to do is start figuring out the proper rotations. Who plays with who and when they're playing. You know, are the Cavaliers going to be able to dismantle teams when Wade's off the floor? When Wade's on the floor without LeBron there, you know, the key is holding leads without LeBron on the court. And I think having a guy like Isaiah Thomas, you know, being able to play Wade at the point with LeBron in there is a huge asset for the Cavaliers because it allows Isaiah to take over the second unit. We know what Isaiah can do when he's on the floor by himself. He can take charge and average almost 30 points a game. The guy did it last season. You know, this is an all-NBA player we're talking about. You know, don't forget, this is something that he took charge of. You know, he's going to third wheel this year. He was the first wheel in Boston on a team that was the number one seed in the East.
Yeah, I know.
You know, he led that team to over 50 wins last year. And, you know, in Boston, for a team that was predicated on their depth last year, really has no depth.
Their team is decimated.
They have a great starting rotation, but after that, I mean, show me their bench right now. Jason Tatum, who's on their bench?
That whole team is a new team. They're starting over.
They lost Zeller. I believe they lost Zeller. They lost Olynyk. Or Zeller's been gone, but they lost Olynyk.
And Crowder.
They lost Crowder. They lost Thomas. They lost Avery Bradley. They lost a lot of pieces.
Yeah. And the Cavs are deep now. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, they kept trying to give Kyrie the opportunity to, you know, hold down the fort while LeBron wasn't playing. And it like you said, you know, LeBron off
Listen,
the court.
Kyrie wanted to be the big dick in town, and he's got that in Boston. He was never going to have that here. Especially with Wade coming here, he'd even lose more attention. I think he knew that.
Oh, you think he knew that Wade was on his way?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Really? Huh.
Based on the Jimmy Butler trade, oh, yeah.
Because that was the clear signal the Bulls were tapping out. They're saying,
correct.
Fine, we're dumping all this. We're going to hit reset.
Correct.
And so that's why it's interesting to watch which domino falls and what that means for all of the other players and all the other opportunities next year, which is basically how we started the show, thinking about LeBron and what options he has. I wish we didn't have to go into a season where he wasn't locked in for the next year. Although that didn't change anything for Kyrie. He had 2 years.
Don't forget the year they won the championship 2 years ago. People were talking about, a year and a half ago, people were talking about LeBron leaving. I remember during the parade with Chris Broussard or Stephen A. Smith saying, you know, he's going to L.A. right now. You know, he won his championship in Cleveland. He's going to L.A. And I was basically like, get the fuck out of here. You know, it's just upsetting to always hear the stupid national media. One of the reasons I just want LeBron to sign this 5-year deal with the Cavs so we can stop hearing about it already.
Because I think it's a distraction. Whether he wants to pretend it's not, just like kneeling for the flag, if you want to pretend that's not a distraction.
Did you hear what Adam Silver said yesterday about the anthem?
Hear what who?
Adam Silver said?
Silver said. I think
all players are required to stand for the national anthem, and that doesn't change.
How hard was that? Impossible? That was so easy.
Yep. Said it doesn't change. He said all players are to stand during the national anthem, and it doesn't change.
That's the most simple answer to I don't know. Good. Well, let's see. Because LeBron James himself, he's in a Twitter war with our president of the United States. I'm just saying. You know, we're in the center of the storm.
I mean, here's another thing too, Brian. I hate talking politics, but Trump wants the drama. I mean, when he's sitting there tweeting some of the crappy tweets, he thrives off of that. He loves it. He loves the drama. He puts himself into these situations on purpose.
Much like LeBron.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sitting here. I'm not going to sit here and defend Trump for his idiotic tweets. You know, I think some of the stuff he says is just, you know, talking about ratings all the time on the air. You're the goddamn president of the United States. Who gives a flying about ratings?
Exactly.
Like, give me break, Brian. Like,
Hey,
come on.
we put the reality TV star in the office, so we get what we pay for. We knew what we were getting.
But I'm just saying though. Oh, the Emmys suck. It's a bunch of losers. Oh, it's all ratings. The ratings are way down. Like, who cares? They're ratings. Like, sit there and do your damn job and stop talking about the ratings for the Emmys or Sunday Night Football. No one cares.
But you know what? LeBron took the bait.
I couldn't give two shits.
LeBron
what
took
the ratings
the bait.
were like for the Emmys.
But you see what I'm saying? LeBron took the bait. Trump is the troll, and LeBron just took the troll's bait. That's what happened here. So I don't know.
It annoys the crap out of me to hear the President of the United States talking nonstop about ratings. He's so insecure.
I saw a great... it was a great cartoon. It was 3 gold condoms, and it said, Trump brand condoms boast the thinnest skin available, or something like that. I thought it was really funny.
I saw that too.
It was the best. It was the best.
He has to be... he has to... I mean, you're the President of the United States, and, here's the thing.
We've
altered... He wants everybody to like him.
Yeah. Well, just like LeBron. There's a lot of similarity between LeBron and President Trump, by the way.
I think he's absolutely ridiculous, but, what can I say? I mean, I think it's funny some of the times, and other times I find it just ridiculous.
Of course. Well, okay. I don't know where else we want to go with this conversation, but, that's pretty much what I wanted to get to, was kind of discussing what the Westbrook signing means. And, took some calls, took some messages from viewers, and we'll do this again. We're going to do more of these shows. We'll put them on YouTube, and we'll put them on Facebook Live as well. So, Zach, do you have any other thoughts on this before we go? I feel like there's
no, I'll be available all weekend, though, if you want to talk.
Okay, cool. Hey, man, thank you for joining us. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Brian.
Peace out. He's on Twitter at @ZBaris. That's ZBARIS. Make sure that you're following him over there. I'll give you a second. If you have any comments, questions below, go ahead and type them now, or shall you forever hold your peace? But yeah, we're gonna redesign this studio here, and you're gonna see a different version of this program start to launch right quick. It's go time, and we just gotta get the right materials, We're gonna be doing a lot of setup in the next couple of days, the next couple of weeks, and you're gonna be seeing a different show here. I want to bring questions and comments in real time, be able to pull up all the information we're looking for, just cranking out consistent content, but really a lot of it is at the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. It's a private Facebook group. If you're not in it, if you're in over here watching, you're live, you're in the group, do me a favor, invite all of your hardcore Indians, Cavs, Browns, and Buckeye fans. Just go to the Unhappy Hour, click Add Friends, and just hit invite to all the hardcore people that you have in your list. Start with that, please. Because these guys have a real good shot. And LeBron James is going to be at the epicenter of the NBA the entire season. Guaranteed. So join with me. Connect your friends with this party. Subscribe, youtube.com/TheNewAmericanMedia. Our page still hasn't been verified over at vid.me. We're trying to start it and put all of our content there, but we're still in restricted mode. Let's see. So you have like a limitation on how often you can upload your stuff. Audio kind of bad on your end. Yes, if you're watching through here, that's what we're trying to do. We got to fix the audio. No doubt about it. Because I was doing this with headphones and a microphone. It was running through my mixing board. Now I'm just talking. Maybe this would work. Maybe if this were here, that would work differently as far as audio. But we're going to set that all up. But in the meantime, we're posting funny stories and funny memes and stuff in the group. So join the group either way. And I feel so much better about the Cleveland Cavaliers season now than I did a couple months ago. I was pretty bummed. Pretty bummed that this dynasty had been stolen from us. I felt like these were going to be the golden years. We were going to see not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. The irony of that, right? Couldn't understand Kyrie leaving and worried about LeBron going. And the more you look at it, with Russ in the West and Harden and Warriors and everything that's going on in the West and the Spurs. At this stage, why would you leave? Looking at that lineup, top to bottom is stacked with talented people that can get it done day one. And if you have enough flexibility in that setup, in that situation, you could play a long time, especially if you don't have to play as much, 37 minutes a game. What a great opportunity for Derrick Rose and D-Wade, though. James is saying Cavs in 5. All right. The question is, over who? Over the Thunder, who I didn't even mention out on the list? Well, I mentioned Westbrook, yeah, but I'll take Cavs in 5. I'll take these guys. What is it? We got to get 11 wins now? 11 wins. Oh, I've waited my whole life for this. What's up, Jason? What's up, James? What's up, Josh? Everybody, howdy. If you have any questions, put them below, because I'm going to wrap this one up. We were just talking with Zak Baris about what the Russell Westbrook signing today means to the rest of the dominoes that are going to fall in NBA free agency. Fascinating. Just an absolutely fascinating topic. Cavs are set up in the East. The Bucks, the Hawks, the Wizards, the Raptors, the Celtics, the Pacers, the Bulls. Rebuild. The Heat, the Pistons, the Hornets, the Knicks, the Magic, the Sixers, the Nets. Nets aren't getting better since we got their pick. I mean, they'll get better this year, theoretically. I don't know, man. If I'm LeBron, I couldn't really fathom. Unless you can get Chris Paul, unless you could get Isaiah Thomas. I don't know. Who's going to give a guy of his age that kind of max deal coming off of that injury? Why would you leave LeBron? Be in the limelight. But he does want to bank. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. We'll see. Yankees won today. Tribe plays the White Sox in about an hour. So that's about all I got. Appreciate your time. We'll post this soon. Invite your friends if you haven't taken the time to do that yet. The Cavs and Indians are going to be going on a run here, and I want everybody to have a really good time talking about this stuff. And just a reminder, we got a lot of our friends and acquaintances, and I hope, different groups of people that I know who don't know each other personally start to know each other. They get to know each other in places like the Unhappy Hour, places like the Agree to Disagree group. If I'm gonna do this and do this full time for the thing that I do, the brand is important. And what I'm going for is a place where we can argue about Cleveland Browns and Pittsburgh Steelers. And we don't actually have to hate each other. Where we can have teams, fans of that team up north, along with the Buckeyes. And we don't actually have to hate each other just because we hate their team. And some of that, seriously, how much of our fandom is irrational and taps into a deep, dark place of us? For many people, this is like the healthy place to go let off this steam. I don't know if that's how it is with a lot of people with adrenaline or testosterone. I don't know if it's that way for everybody, but when I played football, I was competing to dominate whatever was in front of me. That was a pleasure. That was a joy. It was such a useful use of the energy and emotions that I had. It was something positive where I could focus and funnel the energy and attention. And fans, I mean, fans can get really worked up. I like having fun and poking fun as much as the next person. But I think there's too many people, and let's not pretend that alcohol doesn't play a role. But, you know, to literally approach violence over a difference in opinion, that's a strange place when you're rooting for a team. So, as people come in and some of these stories roll in, and there's a lot of negativity flowing forth. And when tensions get high, I just want our places to be a place of higher level intellectual thought as much as we can. We brought in a new administrator to the group, um, and we're just getting started, and it's all just help out here and there. So I'm not going to say that there's someone who's now responsible for maintaining something or not, because we need to be civil to each other is the point I'm getting at. I just want us to be civil to each other. We can disagree on a ton of stuff. We're always going to. I couldn't find 1.1 thousand people who agree on every topic. That would be ludicrous. I don't know that I would want that either. I think it's important to get different perspectives and think of things differently, look at it another way. I think it's good for all of us. So, when you invite your friends, this is the group we're trying to build. Okay? This is what we're about here at the New American Media. I'm trying as best we can. We believe passionately about simple truths and ideals and expectations. And we just want to leave this place a little bit better than we found it. Can we start there and agree with that? Maybe we're trying to leave this place, Earth, a little better than we found it. If that's not a good number one, because if I'm going to make a top 10 list, leave this place a little better than we found it. Okay? And I think we know what that is. That's respect, that's decency, that's compassion, that's kindness, that's fairness. It's something that has high expectations, such as the harder you work and the more you put in, the better you're going to do. So it's in your best interest to make smart decisions. We just want to try to leave this place a little better than we found it. Those are the people I want here. Okay? I quoted, we put on the movie Thor. I hadn't seen it before. And Odin says, "A wise king does not welcome war or wage war or go out looking for war," something like that. A wise king does not wage war or seek a war, but he is prepared for one. I'm a firm believer that there are forces at play that want the people, us, to be distracted and fighting amongst each other and squabbling over things that aren't even things. Because the more distracted we are, the easier it is for them to potentially do a lot of stuff that would not be in the best interest of humanity. I think there are forces at work that are actively attempting to destroy and dismantle this nation. And I would rather see us stay together. I think what unites us is greater than what separates us. I think the ideals of liberty and justice and freedom for all, I think those ideals are shared by all. There are people that really want to change what's happening here. And so things will get heated from time to time, but I'm going to ask that we try to maintain a basic level of respect when we're communicating with each other. And send me a private message if you think I'm getting a little worked up myself. I'm not above that. That's why we brought one of these admins in. He said, "Hey man, can you maybe consolidate all of these flag protest posts into one thread, or ease up?" So I said, I'll put 80-90% of them on the agree to disagree page, and I'll put the really important ones on the unhappy hour, or the ones that are directly about LeBron James or something, because it's Cleveland sports and we have to cover it. So we all need to be pulled back by our more rational, calm buddies from time to time. And I think you know who I'm talking about. If you're watching out there, I know that some of you are more militant in the ways that you communicate, more steadfast, perhaps come off as aggressive or threatening. And there's some others that take great pains to measure their words. With Barack Obama, that man measured his words. Hands down, that man measured his words. Donald Trump does not. He is blunt. He cuts to the chase, gets down to it, and puts the most polarizing thing out there to see where it separates from water into oil. Where do the two sides, what is the line? So you have different communication styles. But I just want to keep our communication style over here eager to learn more and ask a bunch of questions. Kind on the level where you're trying to have a disagreement with a family member you actually care for and respect. You can say the same thing multiple ways, but if it doesn't need to be abrasive for point and purpose, let's try not to go there. I got someone in the group right now. I won't mention who it is, but that agree to disagree group and posted some stuff about something personal that hit home, that there's some raw emotions on, and trying to get understanding. We want to be the place where we can have 300 and 400 level and graduate level conversations about stuff, next level conversations. I want this to be a place where you go to. It's called the unhappy hour. Where is that? That's at some bar near you. You pull up at lunchtime. There's a few people in the place. There's a bartender. There's a few TVs, and there's some stools. That's the unhappy hour. Pull up. So one of the sports fans wanted to kind of discuss an issue, and someone just kind of jumped right out and said, "That's the most idiotic thing I've ever heard. Point A, point B, point C, and by the way, point D," or whatever. And it was like, yeah, but man, if you rolled through the thread, the tone of the thread, this isn't a social justice warrior screeching, and you respond with lunacy in kind. This was someone seeking a kind conversation from people who she knows have different opinions, and they're seeking some clarity, some perspective, things they hadn't maybe thought of. That's what I want with agree to disagree in the unhappy hour. That's the thing I'm going for. That's the tone, that's the tenor, that's the tempo I'm going for. I know a lot of you have now interacted with me, and we sometimes agree and we sometimes don't. But it needs to take a lot for you to actually hate somebody. And I hated LeBron James for 4 years. That was the irrational fan part of me. Hate. I root for laundry. I took it personal. I root for laundry. I root for cloth. I root for a hat. And I root for a flag. It's not complicated. If your entire life is consumed by sports, and it is not your chosen profession that provides for you and your family, you might be in the wrong headspace. You might be putting a little bit too much attention on things that maybe don't deserve that kind of attention or aggression. Same with politics. Maybe I shared a meme on the Instagram. If you're not on our Instagram, it's instagram.com/TheNewAmericanMedia. And it said, it was a picture of a news reporter in a newsroom behind him. It said, "This just in," or "breaking." Some more irrelevant stuff that happened by people you don't know, and now we're going to fan the flames of irrational back and forth yelling until everyone in the nation is whipped up into a frenzy. Or something like that. I want to be the place we can talk about the hot button issues. I don't just want cussing for cussing's sake. I want to keep it mostly civil. You're allowed to slip up and get a little from time to time. Just bring it back, dial it back. Come on, don't rev on 100 the whole time. We all have people in our family that are a little too much and a little too aggressive, a little too militant, a little too out there, a little too crude. And there's plenty of that in me. Plenty of all of these things. So I'm trying to find the balance that's fair and that's enjoyable to participate in a conversation with. So feel free to shoot me a message if you have questions about how I'm putting stuff together, suggestions, or if you want to volunteer to help us out in some way, or you have an idea for a new show, or whatever the case may be, let me know. Because it's about to get real interesting. Hi, Corey. Thanks for watching. If you had a question, put it below. I'm going to take Matt's question. If we haven't addressed anything after that, if there's no new comments, I will call it a day here. Matt August, I hope now that the players have everyone's attention, that they do something with it instead of just protesting to protest. Well, I ended the last program that I did with a reminder that I've called for a beer summit to set the stage. Early into Barack Obama's first term, he had a friend who was a law professor, some sort of professor at Cambridge, and he was arrested at his own house. President Obama hears about it and is alluding to racism, gentle little dog whistles of racism that you would expect to hear from a community organizer who plays that card in order to scare people into submission, into being quiet. It was a knee-jerk reaction. Maybe it was premeditated, or maybe it was just a reaction, an instinct from all the years being poisoned about how terrible this country is, from the likes of Frank Marshall Davis and Cloward and Piven and William Ayers, an actual domestic terrorist who served time for blowing things up. President Obama's knee-jerk reaction was that the Cambridge police acted stupidly. He stuck his foot in his mouth. He didn't know any of the details of the case. He just jumped to, oh, they acted stupidly. Really? Turns out they didn't. A neighbor reported that the man who was locked out of his house, he was like attempting to get back in, it was through a window or a door or something, and he was trying to crawl in through it. Something. He was trying to gain outside entrance. A neighbor they just saw the back of somebody pulling at a window and was maybe attempting to, so they called it in, the police came, and they briefly detained the man, and a huge altercation ensued where there was yelling and accusations and this and that. So anyway, by the way, that's what a cop should do. But President Obama set this table 8 years ago now of the cops are acting stupidly and it's racist. Don't think this isn't a buildup from what we've seen with Trayvon, what we've seen with Mike Brown, what we've seen all across the country. It's an intentional effort by the media to get you worked into a frothing frenzy because the entire country is out to get you. That's what's being told to Black America right now by certain groups of people. That's a dangerous spot to be in. That it's not healthy, it's not productive, it's not true. The amount of times we heard hands up, don't shoot. There was a kid in St. Louis, I swear to you, he was getting arrested, and he put his hands up, and he went like this and said, don't shoot, don't shoot. And that cop just killed him, blew him away. Bang, 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 killed him dead in the street. It never happened. It was a lie. It never happened. The man, after an altercation with the police officer at the car door, the officer, as his gun was being reached for, is the story, shot through the inside of his door, hitting Mike Brown, who ran away, at one point stopped, turned around. The officer had gotten out of his car at this point. Mike Brown turned around, put his head down, and ran like an NFL linebacker attempting to sack a quarterback. Full speed charge, 6'4", 300 pounds. I don't know the exact height and weight. I'm not Joe Rogan. I'm not calling an MMA match. Charges the officer, who shoots and kills him. The logistics show from the angles of how it would have happened. He was charging as completely validating what the eyewitness said. I didn't form an opinion on this case until I had a chance to hear the details of this case. I didn't assume it was something without finding facts to prove it. But this is the evidence of why we need to burn the whole city of Ferguson down. Now, I did interview Ben Swan, one of the best journalists out there. He's gone dark after putting together a very fair Pizzagate story around election time to say, look, here's what is being said by a lot of people. Here's what we know. Here's what happened. Here's what's being accused, and here are things that have never been proven. Anyway, he was in Ferguson. He was either working with Russia Today or where is he, in Atlanta? He was in Cincinnati, Ohio. He did the Truth in Media Project, a lot of stuff. But he was in Ferguson, and he was saying that a lot of that pent-up anger had nothing to do with the Mike Brown case at all. It was the excuse that was used because of what people were really upset about was the police force harassing the citizens of that city. That there were quotas to be met because they had just bought these brand new facilities and had big expensive payments, and they needed X amount of dollars coming in, so policing for profit is the phrase. Look, if taking a knee means that you would like to discuss policing for profit as borne out during the Ferguson case, all right, let's put that down as number 2. Examine the practice of quotas and policing for profit. Okay, we'll start there. There are some good issues that we can talk about. And I just want this to be the place where we have the 400 level conversations. I mean, if it's just to jump in and go, F that son of a B, or F that piece of S, or, expletives and just some general venting without any nuance or new information behind it, just don't even post it. Put the little angry face if you want to convey, oh man, I can't believe that. Because I don't want to push the good people away, all right? And it's what every group needs to do, whether it's Islam, any white supremacist group, any political group, Antifa. If your call is violence, that's not a call we can accept. We use our words in this country. That's what makes us great, because we have the ability to speak. We don't get censored the ways that some other countries do. And with that comes it's a bit of a responsibility in the fact that just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should. I mean, if you find me a person that can't look at 20 things in their life that they would take back and get a redo on. They prefer to do a different way. I mean, then that's maybe a person that's just not being introspective. I bet you Spike Lee wishes he could take back tweeting out what he felt was George Zimmerman's address and sicked a literal lynch mob on an elderly retired couple. I bet maybe he would like to take that back because calling for violence is not the right answer. I think we should look at why those police officers weren't put in jail for killing Kelly Thomas in Fullerton, California. And if you don't know the name of Kelly Thomas, I'm going to ask you to look up my name and look up Kelly Thomas and see the conversations I've had on Coast to Coast AM and the New American Media with Agree to Disagree about that case. So don't tell me that I don't understand police abuse, because I've been covering it for a long time. But I'm going to ask you, if you don't know the name Kelly Thomas, why is that? Why didn't Rachel Maddow lead off her show for a week in a row covering that story? Week after week, show after show. CNN, non-stop coverage. So, anyway, what's up, Amanda? Yeah, so Matt, I'll just say this, and I do have to get going. I hope now that the players have everyone's attention, that they do something with it instead of just protesting to protest. I'll agree with that. I'll take that. Fine with that. And I'm calling for the beer summit right now. President Obama, to finish this story, I know I went a different direction, but to wrap it up, President Obama put his foot in his mouth. He called a beer summit. He brought the Cambridge police officer. He brought the Cambridge professor. I think Joe Biden came out. They had some beers, and they talked about it. I'm calling for a beer summit between President Trump. I want to host a beer summit. I don't care if it's at Quicken Loans Arena or San Francisco Bay Bridge, the White House, Arlington National Cemetery. Pick your place. The Getty Center. Let's do it at the Getty Center. That'd be nice. That's a grand location. So is the White House, actually. Anyway, President Trump, Colin Kaepernick, LeBron James, Steph Curry, Kurt Schilling, Jamel Hill, myself, others, lots of others. When we put this together, we're going to hear so many wonderful presentations. It'll be a symposium. It'll be a pay-per-view event. We're going to make it a pay-per-view event, and 100% of the proceeds should go to some good cause. Something, I don't know. I haven't figured this out. I got to look, once we get President Trump to commit, once we get LeBron James to commit or Kaepernick, we'll get it going. Just ask them, pass it around, ask, are you willing to sign up for this if everyone else joins? They will. We can make it a pay-per-view event and give it all to some charitable organization that they all get to pick. Something that defends civil rights, civil liberty, our constitutional rights, First Amendment, Second Amendment, something. A good cause that we can get behind. But trying to have the most up-to-date, current, and helpful, useful training for our police force, that's pretty important. And I'm gonna go out on a limb and suggest that we're not going to have people opposing that suggestion, because the police are in a horrible position, and it was unfair of President Obama to have a knee-jerk reaction to paint him as a pseudo-racist. And that's where we've been at for the past decade. NFL, one guy takes a knee last year. This year, a couple people do. Whatever. Trump says something about it. Now it's everywhere. Now everybody in the league has to do it. LaShawn McCoy overstretching and showboating and hamming up a little circus during the national anthem. Don't tell me that's not disrespectful, So, anyway, we're allowed to have different opinions here. Let's just try to be cool about it. Like it's someone you work with and you don't really want to get into something too much. You'll make your points known and you'll debate as long as they're willing to be civil. And we'll just start with that. So, Anyhow, thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around. Appreciate your time. And we'll do this again soon. All right? Peace.